Hey you guys, it's me again. I came to give a report. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. Hey Oka JLCA1, how are you doing? Hey Focus Power, isn't that Matthew? Hey, I know that's Matthew. Hey Matthew. Hey AJ LOL, good to see you guys. Tell me who's in the room. I don't know all these handles. Give me your names and where you're scoping from. I've got some good news. I'm so super excited. You guys know I scoped about, probably about an hour ago, but I've been on scope all day. You're in Sacramento. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Dr. Eveangel Savage. I am your evidence-based coach. I am the evidence is my signature, and I teach service professionals to own their stage in career transition. So I have this good news, and I just want to first shout out this morning on Scope, one of my mentors, Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock, was talking about leadership and solopreneurs and growing beyond where you are when you are called, divine appointments. Hey, UK Sarah, thank you for joining. And she was talking about that on her Scope this morning, and I just wanted to share because being by yourself is never ever a good thing, but there are certainly some behaviors that we have to get over, right? So, and when she was doing her scope this morning, I had some serious reflections on when I was a little girl and why I enjoyed so much being by myself, and how God has strategically placed me and aligned me in places where I could no longer be comfortable being by myself. And so I just wanted to just kind of shout her out, because that scope really touched home, because it's been lessons that God has been trying to teach me for a very long time. And when I say a very long time, I mean years. I mean on my jobs. I mean every job I've ever held, because as a little girl, I found comfort in just being isolated and just being by myself and just not, dealing with the issues of the world. But also God calls you to the forefront. And when he calls you to an assignment, that assignment isn't always comfortable and will take you out of your comfort zone. So when she began to talk about that, I really began to reflect on those times, the many times when I was faced with these hard tests, really hard tests of how I was going to deal with all these people, all of these personalities, and all of these things, because I was struggling, because I was used to being by myself. So, but when he calls you to a nation of people to serve, then you can no longer be comfortable by yourself. And so I have really good news. I've been sitting on some amazing leadership platforms over the last 7-8 months. And one of them is the World Changers Sister Tribe. And that has not been an easy task for me, because I've just told you, I'm just so used to being by myself. And so it has not been easy for me to sit and, literally work out a plan with other people and, share thoughts, and everybody's leading and everybody's, the respect, there's so many dynamics that go into sitting on leadership teams. But I am excited to share with you that as a result of the growth that I've experienced and the challenges that I've experienced, and I've even fell a few times. But just like Denzel Washington says, fall down 7 times, get up 8 times, as long as you get up, right? Even to the point where I wanted to just quit because, again, running away was easier, has always been easier for me to just run away from something than it was to just kind of stick it out when it wasn't comfortable, right? So I'm sharing this because transparency is so important as we grow in our respective areas and in our assignments that God has for us. And so I literally, ran away from it and said, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore because it didn't feel good. And so, but then I had to go back. I had to, deal with myself because I was doing it again. I was doing that very same thing again, that like I've done all my life, and that's just run away from the gifting, run away from the pruning and the lessons and the things that I needed to learn to get to my next dimension. And so, thank you, Sarah, for those hearts. I appreciate you. And so, as I began to ponder on, I'm going to share with the sister tribe, see if I can get them in the room. I know they were on my World Changer Sister Tribe. There they go. So when I think about the things that I endured, I am just so elated, you guys, to share with you this good news. I also sit on the tribe with Afroscope TV, not necessarily in leadership, but in social media live streaming, where we have to support one another. So that's a different type of leadership, but being there and adding value and serving where you can and supporting those who need your support, because we're all in these different places in our respective lives, right? So then the other area was the global zone with Wendy Wiley Alexander. So I have 3 leadership capacities or areas where I try to serve, and that's with Wendy, and then with Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock, and then, hi Demi, how are you doing? Good. And then with Nkechi Ajero in Afroscope TV. Well, I am super pleased to tell you guys, thank you so much. How do I manage being with all those groups? Because I understand where my place is. I know I have boundaries. And so when you set your boundaries as to what you bring to the table in your scope of practice, then you know what you're able to do, right? You know what you're able to do, and you do that. You have it on a certain day at a certain time, and you have a certain role, a respectable role, and you fit it into your schedule or schedule your time so that you have the time management to also pour back into what God has assigned you to do as well. Thank you so much you for being here. I appreciate you. But what these groups have done for me is allowed me to develop strengths in areas where I was not necessarily, where I was weak. I already told you I enjoy being by myself. So that was a weak point. But I can't be by myself because God called me to a nation of people, right, to serve every day. And if I don't learn how to be on a team and delegate and, how can I grow a team if I can't sit on a team and serve appropriately? Like, I've served, but this is a different kind of service. We're talking about global service. We're talking about international call to nations. And so this is outside of the comfort of a micro job or outside of the comfort of your own organization, but within groups that are serving a nation of people, right? And that's a greater calling. It's a greater calling. And so I am super excited to share my good news today. I was just sharing with you guys earlier that I had a meeting coming up at 12:30 for the National Organization of Health and Human Services, one of my influential markets, right? Because why? I am a researcher, I'm an educator, I'm also a human service professional. My services overlap in that particular industry and function, right? So today I went to the meeting and I was actually appointed. I was actually appointed to be on the leadership team to chair the development of their online education platform. So when I say to you that it was so important, the things that I went through, still go through as I grow in my processes, have helped to prepare me for this new appointment. So to God be the glory on today. I'm just honoring, hello, Nkechi Afroscope TV. I was actually just honoring all of you guys. I was actually honoring you and honoring Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock and honoring Wendy Alexander for the lessons I've learned over the last 8 or 9 months. Because today I was appointed to be on the leadership team for the National Organization of Human Services, which is my influential market, one of my markets of influence. And so not only was I asked to sit on that team, but I was asked to chair the development team for the development of their education platform. So I learned so many things. When I was on Princess's Scope this morning, I was thinking about the things that she was saying about being a solopreneur and how we can never be called to nations and be alone. And I remember the times growing up as a child, and I mentioned this on the Scope, how a lonely child can become a lonely adult. And I was a very lonely child, and I was very comfortable being isolated. I was extremely comfortable being by myself. But when God has gifted you to do certain things, He's going to prepare you. He surely will prepare you to do that which He has called you to do. And so these last 9 months have not been comfortable. I was just sharing with them. It just really has not been comfortable at all, because I had to sit on these leadership teams in these virtual communities and fit because I had to learn personalities. I had to learn how to get along. I had to learn to be respectful, to learn how to make others respect me. I had to learn how to share in responsibilities, share governance. I had to learn how to do so many things. And so because of that, I think it's important to be this transparent, because today now, because of those lessons and because of my willingness, when I think not just of these leadership teams, but I think about my jobs that I held and how difficult it was for me sometimes on my jobs, because I had an office, and when I was moved from the office to a central place where we had to work as a team, how uncomfortable that was for me, because I was used to being in my space, controlling my workflow and doing my thing, right? So I say all of this is because I've gone from a lot of places to learn a lot of things, but for the things that God has for me, for the appointments that He has for me and the assignments that He has for me. So to God be the glory. Shout out to Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock for that amazing scope this morning. If you are in need of a sisterhood of individuals who are making it happen, if you find yourself in a place where you are struggling by yourself and you would like more support and learn how to be a better leader and learn how to produce good results, then join the Sister Tribe. bit.ly/join Sister Tribe now. If you are someone who is struggling to push the button, right? Struggling to push the button, then Afroscope TV is an amazing community of live streamers who are all things social support when it comes to social live streaming. If you are looking for international to be pulled from your place of isolation and into an international zone or global zone, then Wendy Alexander, she's a great force to be reckoned with as it relates to preparing you for the global market. If by any chance you want to learn to develop a signature program and develop performance measures and for your course online, then I'm your girl. So you have several opportunities to, based on the groups that I'm in, I highly recommend these groups as places where you can learn and grow, and it won't be easy. If you're anything like me, it will not be easy, but growth is never easy. Leading is never easy. We have to come out of our comfort zone. Sarah, this is something, there's not by accident that you are here today, because we have these conversations all the time about how things are never going to be comfortable, but you have to move outside of your comfort zone to be that which God will have you to be. Hello, Doctor. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. I was just sharing about all of the amazing lessons that I had to learn about leadership over the last 9 months, and how it led to my new appointment today as a leader to serve on the leadership team for the National Organization of Health and Human Services. And I was also appointed to chair the committee for development of their educational platform. So, and this is my market of influence. So this is why I'm always telling you guys to make sure that you're in your market of influence, because although I'm out here in Periscope, I have a market, I have a niche. Thank you so much. And I have so many wonderful people like you all to thank for that, because you all are my family and my Perry family that's been out there. You're supporting me and you're following me and you're encouraging me. And the more I'm encouraged and supported, the more I grow and develop as a leader. And so I just, encourage you all to make your mark on the world. Get out there and do the thing like it's supposed to be done. If God has called you to something, He's certainly going to give you everything you need to pull that thing off, including as He prunes you to place you in the market in which He will have you to be. I was a loner, and I can't be alone when God has gifted me to save people. He gifted us all and assigned us to people whom we have to get to their next level or their next dimension. And in so doing, He's going to prune and change you and pull you out of your comfort zone. And I have ran so many times, Dr. Tony. I have ran so many times. I ran from a job. I ran from appointments. I ran from teams. Anytime I'm uncomfortable, I will run. Anytime I was uncomfortable or felt like I was being boxed in, I would run. But there were some very valuable lessons that I needed to learn: to listen, how to sharpen my saw, how to seek first to understand and then to be understood. I know, right? How to synergize as a team, how to be proactive. All of the 7 steps of highly effective leadership are all skill sets that I had to learn. And the most important one of them all, for me has always been seek first to understand and then to be understood. What that does, it helps you to develop what many of us do not have, and that's called listening skills. 90% of America has something they want to say. 10% of those who will listen. So leadership has trained me, yes, and inclusion is so critical. When I think about my appointment on the North Carolina Black Women's Roundtable and how to learn when I walked away from there that every woman doesn't look like me. Every woman doesn't come from the same, we're designed differently. And that inclusion was absolutely necessary. And I walked away from there with a completely different perspective on life and respect for the word woman. Respect just for the word woman. Which is a label that someone identifies with, right? Who am I to suggest what label someone identifies with, right? So I'm telling you, I've learned some amazing lessons that I'm going to teach other people, to respect people, to learn, to be willing to learn, to be willing to listen, to be willing to understand, and then to be understood, right? So you guys, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to shout out Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock, shout out Wendy Wiley Alexander for all of the amazing teaching, and for my amazing social live stream team over at Afroscope TV, and to all of my mentees who chose me to lead, who chose me to show them how to lead. And I'm just I'm sharing with you some of the amazing people that I learned from, that have poured their lives, poured into me so that I can be a more effective leader virtually, off and online. So if you are not a part of these groups, these are 3 amazing groups that have grown me to a place that I only imagined a year ago. I'm now an international speaker. I'm preparing for 3 continents right now. I've gained leverage in the universities. I'm going to be teaching in the fall. I'm now sitting on this national committee. I'm keynote speaking at events right here in my community for large organizations and continuing education programs. Things that I could only imagine. I cannot tell you how much God has moved in my life. Oh, thank you, Dr. Tony. Thank you so much. You made me give a big Kool-Aid smile. You made me give a big Kool-Aid smile. Thank you so much. But Tony, I don't take all the credit. God has truly, prepared me. And He's put amazing people in my life. And I want to thank them. And that is what this scope is all about. Thank you. Thank you so much for the amazing pouring, the amazing support that you've given me. So if you are not a part, yes, He has. If you are not a part of Afroscope TV, where we live stream Thankful Thursdays, I think it's Share the Love nightly will begin again in June, and Wednesdays we do live stream for an hour on Wednesdays, which is amazing supportive live stream team. Then if you're not a part of Princesses Group, where we're learning and not just how to the spiritual side of things, but how to master our lives so that we can master our millions, right? And how transparent God is doing. What a remarkable thing He's doing right now in the transparency of His people, right? And then Wendy Wiley Alexander, who introduced me to myself. she introduced me to my amazing self, in terms of, you got to have the right mindset. I had the mindset. All I had to do was keep the plow to the ground. Keep the plow to the ground and keep cultivating that which was already innately born inside of me, the gifts that God has given me. So shout out to my beautiful people on today. You are so right. You are so right, Dr. Tony, with no personality. And that's another thing, Dr. Tony. Being in these groups brought out my personality, because I was a loner. I was stuck real time, like, I'd rather be behind the desk, or in the office, by myself. So brought out my personality. It made me a better person, made me a better speaker, made me be able to resonate with my audiences, be able to, I'm not afraid. What is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real, right? False evidence appearing real. But God has already equipped us with that He wished us to bring forth. So because of that, we have these gifts, natural gifts, that we're already given. Thank you so much, Ninette 2525. We have these natural gifts that it's easy to speak and articulate that which we have already. Hi, Structured Discipline. Good to see you. You guys are going to have to catch the replay. I had some amazing news. I was just appointed to the leadership team for the National Organization of Health and Human Services. I'm really excited, guys. And the chair of the educational platform, development of the educational platform team for the national organization. So this is my market of influence. You guys connect with your market of influence. And if you don't know how, I have a digital product that is on sale right now over at Audacity Leadership Institute. He said false evidence arresting results is what I say. I know, Dr. Tony, arresting results. Exactly. Thank you so much. This is one of my mentees. She's amazing, the UK Sarah. She's learning how to come outside of her comfort zone. These are the reasons why we share our transparency, because God has appointed us to people. And when God appoints us to people, we have to be transparent and letting them know that we're not perfect. We're not perfect, and we're forever growing in our processes. And so, Sarah, to you today, honey, you've got to come out. I'm sorry. You've got to push the button and know that there are some amazing people out here that are waiting to hear from you. And why is it important to be why is organic important? Why is it healthy living and clean eating so important? Why, when your children have food allergies? I have food allergies. I'm allergic to soy, but I was eating it up. What's the alternative for somebody like me? You have the knowledge. You're the nutrition enthusiast. You got to come and share with us what's good for us. I'm walking around here with swollen feet, and I don't know why I had these swollen feet. Hereditary, I say, or genetic. My grandma and my father, both of them. But I don't want to have them. What can I do to get rid of it, right? So there are people out here that God has given you these natural gifts. He didn't give them to you for you to sit on them. He gave them to you so you can share them with the world. And the internet has made that easier. It has bridged the gap on our knowledge. It has bridged the gap on us building relationships with one another. So push the button today, sweetheart. I'm encouraging you, right, everybody? Encourage my sister Sarah. Let her know that it's okay to push that button, and that at one point we were all rusty. Thank you, darling. You are an amazing individual. and your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great men. Thank you so much, Dr. Tony. And to God bless all of you. To God be all the glory for the things he's done in my life and from where he's brought me from, that 2-pound, 6-ounce baby girl all those years ago, all the trials and tribulations, all of the mistakes that I've made along the way, all the experiences that he allowed me to experience, and the mud that he brought me out of the miry clay which he delivered me from, just to be here for such a time as this, so that I can help his people to know that it's okay. I am the evidence. I am the evidence of his amazing grace. God bless you all. I love you guys. I gotta go. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tony. And I got my sound mind. God bless you.